If you plan on sleeping tonight, please don't watch this. Also, if you just smoked a large bowl of cereal, please don't watch this. Put it in your saved folders for later when you got time. Because you're going to need a lot of time to think about stuff. Because this is about to fuck your whole world up. Okay, so one thing we need to be honest about as a species is that we don't really understand death or if it even happens at all. And I know what you're thinking. Sure we do. We bury them. There's plenty of dead people. But we don't really know what happens or where that person or their consciousness went. But science has a lot of weird discoveries that might all add up with the advancement of technology and might give us some answers as to what happens after we die. And we're throwing around this idea of uploading our consciousness to the cloud and downloading it back into a new body or a cloned body or a robot. What if that's what we're doing? What if that's what the person who died, what if that's what they did? A lot of us are also considering the idea that reality might be a highly intelligent virtual reality simulation. So if it's highly advanced technology, wouldn't it be something that works a little bit like uploading your mind to a cloud and downloading it back instantly? You're not doing it, it's highly advanced technology, it's all automatic. And also parallel universes is a thing, but why? That could explain where the consciousness goes. You see, you don't die, but maybe in this lifetime you didn't quite make it, you weren't really going anywhere. So you transferred over into a parallel universe and kept going. If this is a simulation, we're inputting data here to try and find out the outcome. And if the simulation is giving us nothing, we might as well transfer over into another simulation in another parallel universe. So what I'm saying is that in the future, when we experience virtual reality simulations that are so close to reality that that's what we understand that reality really is, and when we start to uploading our minds to the cloud and re-downloading them down into a highly advanced robotic structure or another cloned body, are we going to understand that there is no such thing as death? Are we going to be able to transfer our minds over into a parallel universe? Because dying and chilling in the clouds with Jesus doesn't make any sense. Doesn't really solve anything or have a purpose. But transferring into a universe until you keep going until you ascend and figure out the question of all questions, which is what you're here to do, who am I, makes a lot more sense. So there's no such thing as death, possibly. They just transferred over into a parallel universe and kept going. Bon voyage, see you on the other side. If you watch this before bed, I warned you. Good night.
Somebody convinced me that I haven't jumped timelines or switched to a new matrix or that there's not been a glitch in the matrix. So let me explain what I have been trying to legitimize and make logical in my head all day long, and I still cannot figure out what has happened here. Yesterday, I took my daughter to a thrift store. We were looking for a specific chair. She saw this pair of Elsa shoes from the movie Frozen and would not leave without them. They were old, they were kind of worn, and I was like, whatever, grab the shoes, let's take them home. They'll be perfect for dress up. I put them in her basket in her room, and this morning I came in here into the living room where we keep our shoes in that shoe basket there, and I see the Elsa shoes, and I was like, well, that's really weird. I had put this pair of shoes in her room in her dress-up basket. I can't believe she's already gotten them out and put them back in the basket. And so I picked up the shoes, I walked to her room and to the basket thinking, well, I'll just put them back in there. And there's 2 pairs of these shoes. There's 2 pairs of these shoes. But that wasn't the part that I'm so confused about. On the bottom, because again, I got these at a secondhand store, on the bottom of these shoes, the same writing. So again, it's not like one pair was picked up somewhere else and they're secondhand. It's not like they were purchased at Walmart or something and we accidentally grabbed 2 pairs of these shoes. And also, I thought, okay, I asked her dad, did you buy her some of these shoes? He said, no, I didn't. I also thought back to Christmas. My mom had gotten her a pair of little Elsa shoes but that's not them. These are them. It's a completely different pair of shoes altogether. They're the same shoe. It's the same size. They're both worn out in the same distress in the same way, like their second hand. I'm so confused. Also, look at one of the shoes in each pair is missing a strap. In this pair, it's on this shoe, on the right shoe, and on this pair, it's on the left shoe. But both are missing a strap. Somebody explain this to me, because I'm still mind fucking blown.
I am pretty sure that I died in a parallel universe and ended up in a different one. Now, how do I know that? One, I am claircognizant, and I have been my whole life. And so when it was going down, the moment in question, I just had a feeling. I was like, we just died. We are now in a parallel universe. And I've had other instances in my life where I've felt time do weird things, or felt I've moved into a parallel universe. One time including where me and my sister said that we crossed over and like changed ages, and we both vividly remember how the universe was different and sort of experienced it in the same way. The clouds were different, a different color, the trees were a different color, etc. And it was only a moment. But so in this instance, the most recent instance, we were driving home from an event, me and my friend, and I somehow ended up on the New Jersey Turnpike. And I was immediately like nervous. It was nighttime, and I was just like, get me off this road ASAP. First of all, I don't belong on the turnpike. It's not the direction I'm going in. Second of all, I don't even want to be there, even if I have to be there. Anyway, but so I was immediately like, get me out of here, direct us to the next exit. She had control over my phone, and we're zooming out. I was like, you know, drop a pin, like pick anywhere that is not this turnpike and get us off of it. But on the map, there was no indication of roads in the surrounding area, and there seemed to be no signage. And that could easily just be a lack of service. In that moment, I was, you know, absolutely not going to mention that I felt like we just died and transferred over, because I'm responsible for our lives, and that's one, a weird thing to say, two, really scary within that moment. But then a couple of weeks later, I was just like, I could not shake the idea, and I was like, can I run this by you? And when I told them, they were like, you know, I kind of feel similarly, not necessarily on the death front, but they definitely felt like time slowed down or time paused in some way. And I've been doing some research in terms of where universes like collide and can cross over each other, and there is that slow down or pausing of time, that sense of it. But then even more interestingly, my friend was like, that their friend has been telling them, I've been having dreams that you've died, and that no indication of how you died, but that people are mourning your death. And when she said that, or when she told me that story, I was like, that's because maybe your friend can sense the people mourning your death in the universe that we just left. And like I said, since then I've been doing research as to like what causes that, like what would cause a spirit to transcend a universe or cross universes, etc. And some say it's by choice, which I would understand, because at that moment I was feeling the sensation of it. I knew it was because I was like, no, restart the game. Like, I'm not trying to go back right now. But then, so interestingly, I was looking at my bag earlier today. I have like a cross body bag, and you know the tabs that they have on the zippers to pull open and close, whatever. That tab is so much longer than it's ever been, and I've been trying to find pictures to see if I have it documented anywhere, but I've had this bag for more than a year, 2 years now, and I know my stuff. Like, I know my stuff. The tag went from being this long to being this long, and it now has a W on it, and it's never had that. It's never had that. I also recently discovered a t-shirt that I've also had for a couple years with a new tag. again, that was not there before. So I've just felt the need to share. I'm not sure if it sounds crazy. I actually don't really care if it does, because too many things have happened in my life that really solidify this for me. So yeah.
I'm gonna show you guys something. So you see this reflection? The mirror thing doesn't just work on pure glass. You can also find a shiny enough reflection, just sort of
another serious question for y'all, because y'all thought I was crazy for the last one, but wait till you hear this. Kundalini! We talking about the chakras today because our bodies are just like robots, because we were designed by higher dimensional beings. They don't want you to know this because then you won't be easier to control. Okay, if you want to be a free player in this game, you want some free game, I want you to check yourself out. Next time somebody walk past you, where do you feel the energy at in your body? Do you feel it in your head first, or do you feel it in your lower body? That will tell you literally which type of dimensional being is walking past you. What type of vibration are you entering into? What state of consciousness are you possessing? When you scroll on social media and TikTok and you look at something, where do you feel the energy at in your body then? You need to start controlling your mind, because if you're not controlling your mind and something else is controlling your mind, Tentacion said it himself, you're not evolving. Stay dangerous.
Stop trying to manifest when you don't know how to meditate. Stop trying to manifest when you don't know how to meditate. Stop trying to manifest when your ass don't know how to meditate, but I'm going to teach you. The fact that some of y'all learned how to use the 3-6-9 method to manifest before you learned how to use it to meditate is the reason some of y'all's manifestations ain't sticking. When I work with clients, there's 3 reasons why people are not meditating. 1, they think they have to get their mind to be quiet when the goal is actually to learn how to sort through the noise. Number 2, they haven't found a method that works for them, especially if you are neurospicy and don't like writing shit down. And that leads me to number 3, where they're scared they're going to have to be consistent with their meditation every single day for them to be a true spiritualist. You need 3 minutes to be present with your body. You're going to start from the top and go all the way to the bottom. It helps if you treat it like a game of Simon Says, because it keeps your conscious mind busy and it allows you to tap into your subconscious mind at the same time, and now they're in sync. So conscious mind is saying, Simon says, check in with our head. Simon says, check in with our jaw. Simon says, check in with our neck. Simon says, check in with our shoulders. But your subconscious is going to pay attention to all of these and give you an evaluation. Okay, our jaw is kind of clenched. Release. We feel tension in our neck and in our shoulders. Release. We're going to maybe do some stretches. There's a flutter in our stomach. There's a tingling sensation in our motherfucking toe. The goal is to be present with your body. Next, you need 6 minutes with the mind. Now, think about the things that you've been thinking about the last couple of days, since we repeat most of our thoughts from the previous day before. Now, here, I would normally advise people to write things down, but if you're neurospicy like me and you hate writing shit down, prop up your phone or sit it down somewhere and record yourself talking aloud. Then you can play back the things that you discussed and you won't lose anything. 6 minutes you spend being present within your mind is just to show you the things that are on repeat, to source them. Why do I keep thinking about this thing? It's also a perfect time to implement your shadow work, and I'll post prompts on that later. Last but not least, the most important actually is the 9 minutes that you spend being present within your spirit, and there's so many ways to do this. You can listen to music and maybe even dance. So that's 2 songs with the duration of 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So it's a lot easier than you think if you look at your playlist. Or maybe you spend 9 minutes planning out an outfit that embodies your essence for the day. The goal is expression and then gratitude of expression.
All right, y'all, this is the best visual representation of spiritual warfare. I'm telling y'all, bro, watch the whole thing. This is how it really is, bro. This is how it really is. Just watch. A disciple of Christ this physical world, the unseen spiritual world. Look at them demons in the back. Look at them demons. Yep. Yep. The physical world. The spiritual world. Look at all them demons them people got, bro. Them demons are within them. It's in their vessel. It's in their body. Ooh. Look at them demons. They don't even know. They probably don't even know. The atheist spirit. Ooh. You see how the demons, they get scared of the warrior of Christ. They get scared.
I reality shifted with my sister and went to this realm called the in-between. This is what happened. So I've been reality shifting for about a year now, but my guides wanted to teach me how it truly works, and they wanted to show me more just about the universe. So they told me to pick a person to come with me in case of drifting. I didn't know what that was, so I was just like, okay, my sister. So we're in the astral plane and they take me to a playground. They take me and my sister to the slide and they say you could use this as a portal to the in-between. So of course they hold me and my sister's hand and they take us to show us. Then we started flying through space, but it wasn't space because it literally felt like infinity, and it felt like we were traveling through space-time, literally. And then my guides told me we're in the in-between. Right away, you could see all these bubbles everywhere, and right away I knew they were universes, and my guides were like, yep, these are universes and you get to choose which one you go to. I cannot express what it felt like flying through this realm and looking at all these different universes. So then, after a bunch of traveling, they were like, okay, it's your turn to do it. And I was like, what? They told me try making a portal and jump through, and you and your sister get to go anywhere you want in the multiverse. So what I did was I created a portal out of my dad's toolbox, and then me and my sister held hands and we jumped through. So me and her are in the in-between and we're trying to decide what universe we want to go to, and then as we're passing by one, she got sucked into it and her hand slipped out of mine. She got pulled in, and I could not bear the thought of her being lost in another universe. Right away, my brother instincts kicked in and I jumped in. One thing you notice is that the energy in all these universes is different. Things are the same but different, and people may be acting weird in your perception, but in their perception, you're acting weird. So I started talking to some people, and right away people started realizing it was from a different universe, and it started spreading around. So soon everybody knew that there was someone from another universe here. I was frantically searching for my sister in my neighborhood in a universe I knew nothing about. There is history of people coming from other universes and bringing darkness and destruction, so hearing about me and my sister there made people want to hunt us down. When I got to the house, my sister was sitting on the bed thinking this was reality, and her reality at that. This is when I realized what drifting was, and I ran to find her parallel self in the house. Long story short, she convinced my sister she's not in the proper reality, and I started asking her parallel self questions about this universe, but she wasn't allowed to tell me some stuff. After she told us that we had to leave, so I made a portal out of the window and then we left for the in-between. When we woke up, I asked my sister if she remembered any of it, and she didn't. Full videos on YouTube.
We're going to be going into a totally different dimension. By raising the frequencies and vibrations of the earth, it will shift into a new dimension. And this is the greatest show on earth, because they said all the beings and all the universes are watching, because this has never happened to in any universe anywhere, that an entire planet will shift into a new dimension. And when this happens, it's like two earths, as though they split. The old earth is left behind with all the negativity and all the chaos, and the new earth separates, and it will be totally new and beautiful. Now, those who have raised the vibrations and frequencies of their bodies will shift into the new earth. And a lot of this is happening right now. A lot of people are feeling this in their bodies because they are having physical symptoms they can't explain. This is happening as the body shifts and changes the vibrations and frequencies of the body. The frequencies can't be changed immediately because it would be too damaging to the body. The body couldn't handle it. It would die. So it has to be done in steps, slowly.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but do not, I repeat, do not quantum jump unless you want your entire world flipped on its ear, okay? In a good way, but the shit works. It's not a game. Be ready for your life to change. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do an entire video on quantum jumping and how to do it and what people are missing when they try to do it. There's some steps. There's a mindset. Get into it.
Honestly, this could be the video that changes your entire life, so you owe it to yourself, to your mom, to your kids to hear this video out. So a couple years ago, I went from looking like this, from borrowing gas money and not even having enough money to go grocery shopping, to looking like this and manifesting 50K months within my business, and I done this all in a matter of 90 days. If I'm being real, I didn't even set out intentionally to make those 50K months. I just remember one day crying and breaking down because my daughter wanted to go to Disney and I didn't have the money to get her there. I was listening to this man at the time. His name is Neville Goddard. And what ended up happening was that I accidentally shifted my identity. So after like a year, I sat back and I was starting to feel miserable and overworked. And I was sitting there and I was trying to understand, why were those first few months so easy? That was when I discovered and realized that I had shifted my identity. At that point, I started trying it on a couple of clients. And the first client that I tried it on, he literally went from a negative net worth the year prior to $1 million in 9 months. And I'm going to play you a little clip about money so you can understand why.
Manifesting $10 million is as easy as manifesting $1. There is no difference between manifesting $1 and manifesting $10 million. At the end of the day, it's money. The amount doesn't matter. It's still money. $10 million isn't any different than $1. Don't think you can't manifest $10 million because of its amount. Just because it's a higher amount, it doesn't suddenly become something different. It's still money.
Basically, what ended up happening was, after I seen it worked on so many other clients, I'm like, I need to get out of my business. It took me a year to actually take the next steps, and I ended up paying $20,000 for a manifestation coach to kind of hold me accountable and walk me through the process. And within 3 weeks of hiring him, I ended up quitting my old business that made me the 50K, and I ended up generating $35,000 in a brand new business. One thing led to another, and now all I do is teach people how to shift their identity so that they can grow or start their business. I use my 22-page workbook on myself to this day. It is what I use and how I grew my TikTok channel to like 40K in a matter of 4 months. It connects me to my higher self, and the results that it brings me are crazy. If you feel like you have tried literally everything, you owe it to yourself to try this one last thing. Again, it's called identity shifting. I have so many free resources on my page, but if you want something a little bit more structured, feel free to go here.
So only in the third dimension exists the concept of past, present, and future. But when you add a fourth vision of that, you have eternity, because there is a fourth line that connects past, present, and future. It's very difficult to understand the fourth dimension from the third dimension. The only way is a dream. When you dream, things happen without time, without space. Sometimes you just turn around and you are in a different country, in a different place, and in a different time, with a different body. So the fourth dimension is like that all the time. It's like if you are dreaming. So when you dream, you are living the fourth dimension. The fifth dimension is the expansion of light or awareness of the third and the fourth. So you cannot be in the fifth dimension if you don't enjoy the other two. It's impossible, because the fifth dimension is the awareness of every vibration and light of your molecules in this body. So if you don't feel your body completely aware, you will not feel the awareness of the fifth dimension. That's why enlightenment is not going to the sky, it's to shine. To go to the fifth dimension, you have to shine from the third, and to understand every possibility that you have in the fourth.
The craziest thing happened to me yesterday, so I woke up in the morning feeling different, but I couldn't really pinpoint why, right? And then I went to the supermarket to go get some eggs, and when I went to go get the egg, in the spot where they normally have been this whole time that I've been living in this area for the last couple of years, they weren't there. Instead, I found a bunch of sodas and beers in the spot where they were normally sitting at. So then I thought to myself, like, whoa, did I just happen to shift into another parallel version of my reality, and this one just has a slightly different layout than the supermarket that I'm used to? Like, that's crazy. Anyway, that was just a thought, right? So I keep going about my day, and then I go to the park, and as I'm walking back home from the park, right, I get to this corner where there's usually this little like corner store, convenience store, and when I get there, guess what I see? The store was closed. It looked abandoned because I didn't see a store sign and apparently had been broken into or something. So then I took that as my sign that, like, no, I have clearly shifted into another parallel reality and I need to talk about it. Get home and I start getting ready for bed, right? And then I do what I normally do when I go to bed, which is listen to a subliminal or some kind of like healing frequency or hypnosis track or something like that. So I go through my history to see the previous videos I had listened to from the night before. I forgot I had listened to this the night before, and I actually had woken up in the middle of the night and I put it back on and I listened to it, and then in the morning when I woke up I listened to it again. So could this be the reason why I felt different in the morning when I woke up and why my reality was just like noticeably different to me? I think that hypnosis audio track or whatever it is helped me to shift into a parallel reality. And I know that there are going to be naysayers and they're just going to be like, oh, you know, you're just reading too much into this or whatever. I don't care. Think what you want, believe what you want, you're entitled to that. But I feel like this was a clear shift of me being in a parallel reality, and that it can be so much easier than we think to shift into different versions of reality. So what are your thoughts on this? Have you noticed anything different in your version of reality? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy things on spirituality, personal development, healing, weird things, because I'm just a random Aquarius out here, then check out my account. And if you vibe with my videos, then definitely give me a follow. Bye.
About to get really trippy with this one. Everyone that you meet is from a different timeline. Hear me out on this. I'm going to explain everything like you've never heard before. So we have a set population. Oh, there's this many people. There's 7 billion people on the planet. Wrong. At any given time, there are people that come into your life from different timelines because you yourself are jumping in different timelines. Someone that you saw at the grocery store, oh my God, I've never seen that person there. Or this seems different this time. It all comes in at different points of your life. Both of these guys are Bradley Feigl. They're not related in any single way. Look at the resemblance. That's a very unique one that I've just seen recently. Do you understand that all the richest people, the leaders of this world, know this? This is why they use us to manifest the wars, manifest everything that is going on within this reality. This is quantum physics. This is real. The multiverse. All these concepts are completely real. They're just not touched upon because why would they want you to know this? Let's talk about CERN. CERN pushes these particles together, these atoms, they collide them together, trying to create other things or trying to get to the codes to actually be able to fully immerse timelines together. Some of you realize what's coming. Some of you realize that right now is going to be unrecognizable in a decade. For those who are skeptical, I'll give you one more example. The biggest shift that we ever had, the biggest collective shift that they were able to put within our minds was 2020. We all know what happened. We all know life before, and then we know life now. And if you still don't believe me, go look at a picture of yourself, even 5 years ago. Is that the same version of you? Go look at your friends. Go look at your family. Of course, oh, Adonis, we all age. No, I mean, no, you're not. You don't change that much. People don't change biologically like that within a matter of 5 years. They change because you are not that version of you. We are constantly shifting at all times. Decisions, feelings, thoughts implanted and feelings implanted, all of that switches you in and out of different versions of you, different timelines.
So you know how they say you can jump timelines? I feel like I jumped timelines for the first time, or it may have been happened before then, I don't know, but I know for sure in November of 2017 I jumped timelines, and I have proof. But before I show you the proof, let me give you the backstory. So I think it was like November the 24th, November 25th, something like that, of 2017. I went to go check on my kids, and I found my son in the bed, unconscious, foaming at the mouth. Literally freaked the fuck out. Grabbed my son, rushed to the hospital. Me and my sister were together. She drove me to the hospital. I'm just like rocking him, telling him, please, baby, breathe. He was breathing, but he was like struggling to breathe. So when he got to the hospital, they rushed him to the back. They couldn't figure out what was going on because they were not equipped to deal with children, which is crazy. How do you have a fucking emergency room that you're not equipped to deal with children? But anyway, so they just gave him a breathing tube and transferred him to USA in Mobile, Alabama, which is a children's hospital. It's an infirmary, but they have a children's hospital that's separate. So we get there. They get him like stable for the night, but he's still unconscious. Like that, he's medically unconscious. They put him unconscious because they couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. So when they figured out he was having seizures, they started to do some anti-seizure medicine to try to help get it under control. Well, they wound up getting it under control, but my son had an adult breathing tube in because the people in Gulfport didn't have a children's breathing tube. So the doctor told us the risk, and he was like, you know, if his throat swelled up, we'll just give him steroids. So I suggested giving him steroids before because I knew that his throat was going to swell up. I just felt it in my soul, and lo and behold, they pulled that motherfucker out and his throat swelled up. So because they did not prevent him from having this, he started having complications from his throat closing and him not being able to breathe. Well, my son had a heart attack. My son had his lung collapsed. Like, they literally called my son the miracle child, the fact that he made it. But you know, mama was on it, praying, meditating. Like, I did everything. I used every tool I knew to bring my baby up out of there, and he made it. He is healthy now. He don't have any more issues with seizures. But it was crazy because he had never had any medical condition before then. So, you know, we wound up getting out the hospital. I started staying with my mom for the remainder of that month. We got out of the hospital like the end of December, right before Christmas. So I started staying with my mom, and by January, I had found me a place, moved in, and I was going through all of my old videos because I was doing YouTube videos at the time, and I was going through all of my old videos, and I ran across this collection of pictures. Now, when I used to do YouTube, before I would do YouTube on the floor in my bedroom, and my phone would randomly take pictures, like just randomly take spurts of pictures. Well, go to part 2.
So if you're seeing this video, you died. You went through a near-death experience or something like that, and you actually died. You are now in a parallel reality, a parallel universe, because you wanted to continue to live. So you jump to another parallel reality where it's very, very similar, only few differences. The only difference is that you actually died, and some of you could have died from another person even, but some of you chose not to remember it so you can continue with your purpose. Your purpose is still the same, your mission is still the same, although you might even tell that you feel a little bit different, and you feel different because you did go into another reality. Some of you have done this more than once, and you just kept going into parallel realities. Some of you went into a higher reality. Others of you could have went into a lower reality just because the stun of how you died could have made you go into a lower reality. But you can timeline shift at any moment, or parallel jump at any moment into another universe. It doesn't have to be just when you die, right? But I don't know, I just felt like this message is for who it's supposed to be for. This is someone that either got really sick, some of you overdosed, some of you died due to another person. Totally different ways that you've died, okay? But it seems like you had like a lucky break. You didn't actually have a lucky break. You actually really died, and you're in a parallel reality right now. So this is your message. Of course, use your discernment and live out that purpose, because obviously you keep choosing to be here for a reason. So do what you have to do.
I have been waiting for somebody to ask me about my theories on deja vu, so yes, I will gladly explain them to you. There's a lot to unpack in this theory that I have, so I'm going to try my hardest to explain it as cohesively as possible, but I need to explain my understanding on infinite realities, and how I view like the universe or our decisions, I guess. So I'm sure everybody has seen this picture of like the inside of our brain. So if I'm remembering correctly, these little bundles are called the soma, which is the cell body. I want you to think of that as like the reality that you're sitting in. And then you have these nodes branching off, and then it's kind of hard to see, but in between the nodes, there's a little tiny bit of space, and that's called the synapse. And then you zoom out, and then you see this giant never-ending map of neurons, basically, and that is how I picture multiple realities. So there was this day that I was in the car, and we were at a stoplight, and it had turned green. And I'm one of those people that drive as soon as the light turns green, and today's no exception. I felt like I started driving, but I wasn't moving. And the next thing I know, somebody was speeding through the intersection doing like 60 miles per hour. And in that moment, I got that deja vu feeling where I knew exactly what was going to happen. I had been here before, and it made me think, like, did I just split off into another reality? So I looked over to my boyfriend. I was like, dude, we should have just been into a car accident, and now I feel weird. And he goes, you do too? So now both of us are sitting here experiencing this same deja vu feeling because we split realities. And then I started thinking about how any small choice I made in that moment would have detoured me to a different reality, and how there was an infinite amount of possible choices I could have made, which means there was an infinite amount of realities that I could have split into. And now I'm going to bring the brain analogy back in. I just want to clarify that I don't actually think that we are traveling through neurons. Maybe, but I don't think so. So this is me chilling in my current reality, minding my business. And then, oh no, something life-changing happens. I start traveling down this node, and now I'm in between two somas, two different realities. This is where you're going to start experiencing that deja vu, because this is where the two realities are connected. This is when they share similarities. And the closer you get to the next soma, the next reality, the less you're going to feel the deja vu, because things are going to start changing. And now I'm in this reality. It's the same reality because they're still connected. It's just different. And since there's an infinite amount of choices that could have led you to an infinite amount of realities, this would be what it looked like, but an infinite amount.
So here's proof that quantum jumping will literally change how you look. So here's a screenshot of one of the first videos I ever posted on TikTok just over a year ago, right before I started quantum jumping. You cannot tell me that looks like me. Here was another one from around that time. Yes, my hair is different, but also my jaw shape has changed. My nose has changed slightly, and even my eyes and eyebrows look different. And overall, the symmetry of my face has improved. There's about a 10-pound weight loss between these two photos, but not enough weight loss to warrant this much change. I believe this happens because our body's a reflection of our energy, and so as my energy began to shift, so did my physical features. But I'd love to hear what you think.
This here represents the surface of life. Surface. And we see surfaces, surfaces. And about 300 years ago, scientists, they started wondering what was this wood, and what was this metal, and what was it really? So they start looking into matter. So this side is matter, and this side is mind. Mind and matter. And the scientists, well, they discovered molecules. Deeper they went, and they discovered these atoms. And like I say, they thought that was the smallest particle for a long time. All these things we learn about in school. They went deeper, and they find inside the atoms these little electrons and neutrons and protons. And they went deeper and deeper and deeper, smaller and smaller particles, smaller and smaller particles. They found 4 forces On a deeper level, the 4 became 3. And on a deeper level, the 3 became 2. And then, about 30 years ago, modern science, quantum physics, discovered the unified field. The unity of all the particles and all the forces of matter, of creation. Not only did they discover the unified field, but they found that everything that is a thing emerges from this field of no thing. Unmanifest it is. Unmanifest. It is no hyphen thing, but all things come from it. Anything that is a thing has emerged from this field of unity. It's oneness. The scientists know this exists, but if they wanted to get there, you can't get there. It's unmanifest. You can't walk into this field. But any one of those scientists could practice a technique, transcendental meditation, which, remember, true happiness is not out there. You're given a mantra. A mantra, a very specific sound, vibration, thought. Very specific. It needs to be life-supporting at all deeper levels. And that mantra that you're given gives the key that opens the door. The mantra turns the mind within. Turns the awareness within. And you naturally dive. Why is it natural? Because each deeper level of mind and each deeper level of intellect has more happiness. And the deeper levels of mind and deeper levels of intellect correspond to deeper levels of matter. At the borderline of intellect, you transcend. Transcend is the key word. It means to go beyond. You're going beyond field of relativity, duality, experiencing oneness. Pure, unbounded, infinite consciousness. This consciousness has qualities. Infinite creativity, intelligence, energy, love, power, and bliss. Dynamic peace. Always been there, never had a beginning, it is and it will be forever. Unbounded, infinite, eternal, immutable, immortal consciousness, fullness. Any human being can experience this easily and effortlessly with Transcendental Meditation. Transcendental Meditation is just a vehicle to get you here. When you experience this level, you enliven it, and it grows in the individual. All positive, light of unity, all positive. You experience this level, and you enliven it, and this ball of consciousness that you thought was just going to stay the same for the rest of your life starts expanding. And these qualities expand.